Nature is indifferent. It doesn't care about your plans, your possessions, or your life. In a single, terrifying moment, the earth can crack open, the sky can turn black, and everything you've ever known can be swept away. These aren't disaster movies. These aren't Hollywood special effects. What you're about to see is real, raw, unfiltered. Deep in the heart of the Argentine Andes lies Aconcagua Provincial Park, a breathtaking wilderness of jagged peaks, glacial streams, and treacherous mountain passes. Thrill seekers come from across the globe to hike, climb, and ski through its stunning terrain. But the mountains have rules, and on January 24th, 2016, they enforced them with lethal authority. A group of hikers was crossing a shallow mountain stream when their guide, Julian Inalda, stopped dead in his tracks. He heard something deep, something wrong. It took 4 years to build. It took the river less than 4 minutes to destroy it. June 2021 brought catastrophic rainfall to China. Rivers swelled beyond their banks. Towns vanished beneath walls of brown, churning water. In Nanping, Fujian province, the Mayang Creek rose to levels no one had ever recorded. Not in living memory, not in written history. As the floodwaters tore downstream, they carried for centuries. Sailors navigating the dark waters of the Mediterranean Sea looked to it as a beacon, a pillar of fire rising from the Black Ocean, reliable as clockwork. They called it the lighthouse of the Mediterranean. Mount Stromboli, one of just 4 active volcanoes in all of Italy, rising from its own private island north of Sicily. According to ancient Greek mythology, it was home to the Aeoloi, sons of gods, keepers of wind and fury. The locals who live in its shadow today know better. Kajen is a city of 73,000 souls, tucked into the lush, tropical heart of central Java. Life here moves at the rhythm of the rainforest. Warm, humid, and punctuated by powerful storms rolling in off the Java Sea and the vast Indian Ocean. The locals are used to rain. They're used to wind. They thought they were prepared for anything. They were wrong. On November 6th, 2022, a security guard named Bang Roy stood at his post outside. Xilin Hot sits at the edge of the ancient Mongolian steppe, a place that once echoed with the thunder of Genghis Khan's cavalry. Today, it's home to 250,000 people, half in the urban center, half scattered across the vast, windswept countryside. And it is that countryside that got the show of a lifetime on June 24th, 2020. A massive tornado descended from the clouds like a phantom, pale, twisting, almost graceful in its terrible motion. 2.5 million people, 90-mile-per-hour winds, a storm that hadn't been seen in nearly 2 decades. On August 23, 2017, Typhoon Hato made landfall in Zhuhai, a gleaming modern city in Guangdong province, with the kind of violence that rewrites a city's history. Meteorologists called it the strongest storm to strike the region in 18 years. The footage that emerged was staggering. 18-wheelers flipped onto their sides like toys. Cranes tore free from the flanks of skyscrapers and crashed into the streets. At 12,000 feet, Mount Semeru is the roof of Java, the highest volcano on Indonesia's most populous island. The locals call it Semeru, the Great Mountain. For centuries, they have lived in its shadow, farming the rich volcanic soil that surrounds it, praying it stays calm. It hadn't been calm since April 2014. On December 4th, 2021, Semeru crossed the line. Scientists believe that heavy rainfall caused the lava dome at the summit crater to catastrophically collapse, triggering an explosion that sent an ash. Sometimes the most terrifying thing about a typhoon isn't what it does to the sky. It's what it does to the ground beneath your feet. Lufeng sits on the banks of the South China Sea, east of Hong Kong, a coastal city that knows typhoons the way most cities know traffic. They come every season. They cause damage. Life goes on. But when Typhoon Linfa made landfall on July 9th, 2015, even a city accustomed to storms was caught off guard. Linfa was only a Category 1, technically a tropical storm. On paper, it should have been manageable. The 106-mile Yellowstone National Park is one of the most iconic wilderness areas on Earth, a cathedral of geysers, wildlife, and ancient forest that draws millions of visitors every year. In June 2022, it became a disaster zone. Heavy rain fell on a snowpack already primed to melt. The combination was catastrophic. Rivers surged beyond any level ever recorded. Roads crumbled. Bridges disintegrated. And in the small town of Gardiner, Montana, a community of just 800 people on Yellowstone's northern edge, the unthinkable happened. The Philippines knows typhoons. Sitting at the crossroads of the Pacific Ocean's most violent weather systems, the country absorbs more tropical storms than almost anywhere else on Earth. The people are resilient. They rebuild. They endure. But November 2020 tested even that legendary resilience. First came Typhoon Goni, one of the most powerful typhoons ever recorded, tearing through the islands and destroying thousands of homes. Power lines snapped. Infrastructure crumbled. Communities were left shattered. Then, 1 week later, before the survivors could even begin to assess the damage, before the power had come back, 10 disasters. 10 moments when the thin illusion of human control was stripped away by the raw, indifferent power of the natural world. Billions of dollars in damage. Hundreds of thousands of lives upended in an instant. We build. We rebuild. We tell ourselves we're prepared. And then the mountain speaks. The river rises. The wind arrives at 115 miles per hour. And we remember